So, Louisville has a traffic problem. We know that. Louisville has a proposed solution to its traffic problem. We know that too. But what is the big deal behind the bridges? Why are local politicians and planners and business leaders so gung-ho on spending our $4 billion for this thing? Well, the documentation, the environmental impact study, goes into gobs of detail. I mean, stuff like cost, engineering feasibility, commercial displacements, residential displacements, effect on historic neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, minority neighborhoods, effect on property taxes, yay, streams, wetlands, Bambi's mom. But it's not until you look at the traffic studies, the traffic patterns, who's crossing the bridge, when are they crossing the bridge, where are they coming from and where are they going to, that you really start to get an idea of not just the tactical or short-term reasons we need some infrastructure improvement, but the long-term, the strategic reasons, why we're going to need this not just tomorrow, but in 2021. There's some overlap between short-term and long-term reasons, but first is reduce congestion. I mean, we want that now, we want that in the future. And building more road and more bridges would reduce congestion. Next is reducing accidents, making the road safer, and also being able to reroute traffic in case of an accident. Our inability to reroute traffic because the shoulder is too small, or we don't have a shoulder because we converted it to a lane. Our inability to reroute traffic just aggravates the congestion. So that's another strategic and short-term reason we need another bridge. And I should also mention, though, that it's not just the whacked engineering on the road that causes the accidents. You could have the best engineered road in the world, and if you had distracted drivers, you're still going to have accidents. Something in the environmental impact statement that they just talk about over and over and over again is something called cross-river mobility. Okay, let me get my chocolate dough lined up with my vanilla dough real quick. And cross-river mobility is what it sounds like. We have more people in Indiana wanting to get over to Kentucky, and more people in Kentucky wanting to get over to Indiana. You should be able to cross the river without it being an ordeal. But there are other applications to this term cross-river mobility. For example, God forbid, but let's say there was some kind of evacuation. Let's say everybody in the south of the river needed to head north quickly. I really don't think the existing bridge infrastructure we have now, the Sherman-Minton, the 2nd Street, and the Kennedy, would really be able to accommodate that many people needing to get north quickly. And also, keep in mind that the nearest interstate bridge upstream north is 80 miles away near Cincinnati. Downstream, it's 185 miles away near Paducah. I just think that's a kind of a wide span in which you have no interstate bridge crossings. Pollution is another thing. All those people sitting there, that increases pollution because they could be at work at their desk with their cars turned off, but actually they're sitting on the road. And you know Louisville, it sits in the Ohio River Valley, and all that pollution makes our air gross. But there's really the elephant in the room is growth. And growth, I mean growth in population, growth in employment. In the time span that the study talks about, 1990 to 2025, population is expected to grow about 31%. Employment is expected to grow about 53%. Traffic is going to increase and tag along with those increases about 41%. So if we do nothing, which is an option, The Kennedy Bridge, it's estimated, will be at, in 2025, it will be 142% of capacity. Now, you could spend all day talking about these numbers. The impact statement is full of them, and as we all know, you can use numbers to prove that the moon is made of green cheese. So I'm not going to spend all day talking about all these different numbers, except for one, and that is the growth in the east-to-east traffic. And why am I going to focus on that? Well, for the main reason is that, I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this dough off, is that east-to-east traffic is going to grow at a faster rate than traffic growth in the Louisville metropolitan area overall. I think it's going to be about 125% versus 106%. And these are drivers that, let's say, for example, somebody in Prospect, Kentucky, wants to go to Utica, Indiana. Well, the driver in Prospect has got to get all the way west to the Kennedy Bridge, cross the Kennedy, and then go all the way back east to Utica. Okay, and then she's got to do it all over again. Besides contributing to the main problem of the Kennedy, which is its funnel effect, it's taking all the traffic from the Louisville metropolitan area south and north of the river and funneling it and just stuffing the Kennedy full of cars. What east-to-east traffic is also doing is it's backtracking. And when you backtrack, you're essentially doubling your vehicle miles, you're doubling your pollution, you could potentially be doubling your vehicle hours delay. You're kind of a car on the road that shouldn't be. And there's another number I want to talk about, and that's freight traffic, trucks. 3 interstates meet up in Louisville. It's a popular place. And I-65 in particular has been designated a freight significant corridor. It's one of 5 freight significant corridors identified by the feds as a place where we need some work. The feds are trying to improve the performance measures on these roads so that freight can move more freely. Louisville is the home to UPS's regional hub, its largest regional hub. But it's not just UPS or the logistics industry that wants its trucks to move freely. Nearly everything we buy, including the stuff for this dough probably, ew, dog hair, was trucked here. So we all benefit from trucks moving around. Trucks make up about 11% of the traffic on the Kennedy. It shoots up a little bit right after the AM rush ends. And a significant chunk of that Kennedy traffic needs to head to points north or east. For example, they're coming off of I-64, they're coming westbound, and they want to go on 65 north, or vice versa. Those guys would probably prefer to use a road system that allowed them to skip the congestion of downtown Louisville and downtown Jeffersonville. They would be better off. We'd be better off.